Kansas City está en el corazón de Estados Unidos. Y en el corazón de Kansas City hay una latina emprendedora y artista, y esta es parte de su historia.
My name is Dulcinea Herrera, and I'm from Taos, New Mexico. I've lived in Kansas City for about 6 years now. My mom's side of the family is from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and my dad's side is Mexican and Mescalero Apache. Even though our cultures are so different, together it's really cool, and I feel like I learned so much from each one.
En el 2019, Dulcinea y su familia abrieron Café Corazón, uno de los primeros cafés de dueñas latinas en esta parte de la ciudad.
So Café Corazón is a family business me and my parents started about 4 years ago. We started it because we realized that most coffee comes from Latin America, but no one ever pays homage to that. No one ever really talks about the cultures or the people from Latin America. So we wanted to give the bean a voice and be a representation here in this city for Latin American coffee. We're also beyond fair trade, meaning that we know that everything is fairly treated. Everyone's fairly treated, they're getting compensated well, and that's a really important part of our history here at Café Corazón.
We can share them.
I like your headband. We should share them.
Aparte de ser emprendedora, Dulcinea lleva muchos años haciendo arte.
Dulce's art is so cool because she's been doing it since she was very small, so it's really like changed over the years.
When I paint, I feel very therapeutic. I just get lost. Like, I usually don't even look at the time. I don't look at the clock because it just goes. Sometimes it's 5 p.m. and I look and it's 1 a.m. And I love that. I think it's helped me become more into myself.
I feel like Dulce's done kind of everything. She's tried all kinds of processes and different mediums, and it's kind of led her to this new sort of thing she's doing now, which is portraits that kind of empower people of color, and I think that's really important. So I approve that her work has taken on this sort of political significance in these times.
Dulcinea lleva por sus venas sangre indígena. Para la cultura indígena, la naturaleza es el fundamento de la vida, y su conexión con ella es tanto física como espiritual.
I grew up in nature, and my dad is part native, so I feel very connected to this side of me, and I feel like I feel energies a lot. Sometimes it's overwhelming, like when I go out, I don't really like it because I feel like I'm feeling everything and I don't want to. So sometimes I think that's why painting or doing art is really good for me, because it's almost like therapy and I get to be with myself and I just get to feel really relaxed. This is something very important to me. But I do feel like when we have ancestors who focus more on love and like giving back to the earth, being around the earth, and paying respect to the earth, we might be more like that. Whereas if our ancestors were maybe more about money or power, it's harder to feel things. I feel like you feel empathy more through generations of love and nature. Not to say no one can. I think that all of us actually have that ability to be able to do it. It's just we have to find that way. One of my philosophies to life is be in nature, it will heal you. This is actually something I use before I paint every time. So I always sage and I always Palo Santo.
Palo Santo es una madera aromática que se ha usado por cientos de años en América Latina. La especie arbórea crece en todo el continente americano y es utilizado en prácticas curativas tradicionales y en ceremonias espirituales, tanto por indígenas como mestizos.
So everyone has their way, but what I like to say is my ancestors and angels that only want love and happiness for me, bless me and my fiance in this house, bless our family, give us good energy, any negative energy around us, inside of us in this house, I ask that you remove it and give us protection of all of our dreams and everything we want, and our love flourish in our life. Amen. Here you go, cameraman. People are gonna think I'm loca, but I don't care. Feel better?
Somos una mezcla. Venimos de nuestros ancestros. Y aunque no los conocimos en persona, llevamos dentro de nosotros parte de su esencia. Tal vez, sin darnos cuenta, vemos la vida con una perspectiva desde su punto de vista, porque somos una maravillosa y perfecta mezcla. Dulcinea nos hace pensar y recordar en los que vinieron antes que nosotros, lo bello que es ser humano y el ciclo de la vida.
Nosotros somos inmigrantes. En la situación en que nosotros emigramos es doloroso, es algo muy duro. Y es duro para los grandes, pero es mucho más duro para los niños. Mis hijos, por ejemplo, la patria que conocen es Estados Unidos, porque ellos vinieron a muy tierna edad y de su país de nacimiento no conocen nada. Siempre los mentalizamos de que al ser inmigrantes íbamos a estar siempre en la mira de todo el resto y ser lo mejor.
Hitra es una colaboración de dos muralistas de Kansas City. Y esta es su historia.
My name is Isaac Tapia, and I am originally from Mexico City. I was around 8 years old when I came to the United States. I remember it was in April that we came, and I turned 9 in June. I have been living in Kansas City for about 22 years now.
My name is Rodrigo Alvarez, and I was born in Rivera, Uruguay. I've been in Kansas City for 20 years.
Kansas City represents home, or at least that's what I want to call it, or at least that's what I feel it is to me. I don't see myself doing anything else but painting.
I paint to represent my family, my culture, Latino family, basically, to be represented for in those places or spaces that we are not really welcome to. Paint to to create that space, a welcoming space where everyone feels represented. And within that representation, I'd like to invite people that look like me and just open conversation.
Isaac y Rodrigo empezaron a trabajar juntos en el 2017.
It's been such an amazing experience to work with somebody that's also very hardworking.
We share a lot of time together. We share a lot of struggles together. Definitely, it's been awesome to see growth in him, and me, and us, and it's just a blessing to be part of what we've created.
For a long time, I had a hard time putting myself as a Mexican or as an American. Now it's easier for me to say I'm an immigrant in the United States. That for sure I know. And I'm reminded a lot.
Although people have been inviting to me, I've been made to feel like I don't belong here often. Just basically by the way I look, by the way I speak. And people have reinforced that feeling within me by politics in the United States.
En el 2012 pasó algo extraordinario. Por primera vez en su vida, miles de jóvenes tendrían la oportunidad de aplicar a DACA, un programa que les daría protección contra la deportación y derechos básicos como el obtener un permiso de trabajo.
If you are undocumented, you live in a constant state of fear of being stopped by the police, fear of not being able to work and provide, fear of everything. You just constantly are in fear. And DACA basically gave me a safety net. And although it doesn't expand to my parents, I feel like by extension I can help them. DACA was a door to have a peace of mind. I've been given an opportunity to do something with my life, although it was taken away at an earlier age for not having it. Now having it is kind of a reason to live, to like keep going, to create openly, to breathe.
When DACA was passed, and I was still scared to apply for DACA. I didn't apply until 2015, I think, 2016. Simply because I was scared, I didn't want to, I guess you could say comfortable with what I was doing, even though it wasn't what I wanted to do. I was helping my parents with their janitorial company, and I was just stuck there for a while. And after that, I decided, you know what, let's try this DACA thing. I applied for it, and that opened up so many doors for me. It opened up opportunities, it opened up the art world again. So I had stopped painting for a while, and it just brought me back to what I really wanted to do for my life, basically.
En Estados Unidos hay más de 580,000 beneficiarios de DACA, quienes provienen de más de 195 países. Isaac y Rodrigo han hecho más de 45 murales en Kansas City. Sus obras de arte son vistas por muchas personas y podríamos decir que hacen la ciudad de Kansas City más bella. No solo pintan murales, sino también hacen esculturas y pinturas. Ellos son un pilar de la comunidad y su alcance se extiende más allá de ser latino. Creo que ellos representan a la humanidad en general y nos dejan un mensaje claro. Los tiempos han cambiado y tal vez DACA se extienda o se termine. Eso no lo sé, pero lo que sí sé es que ser latino es ser parte de una colorida comunidad multicultural, llena de personas que con paciencia y perseverancia logran hacer sus sueños realidad.
Childhood Arrivals Program, better known as DACA. Back in 2021, U.S. District Judge Andrew Hanen ruled that Obama-era program was illegal.
And according to the Department of Homeland Security, DACA recipients and their households pay $5.6 billion in federal taxes annually. The program has faced constant challenges. In 2017, the program was rescinded by the Trump administration, but after legal challenges, a 5-4 Supreme Court ruled in favor of Dreamers in June of 2020. But in July of last year, a federal judge in Texas ruled that DACA was illegal and blocked new applicant approvals while maintaining protections for those currently in the program.
A growing number of DACA recipients say that due to years of uncertainty, they're looking to leave the country on their own terms.
I mean, these are kids who were brought here by their parents. They did nothing wrong. They've gone to school. They have pledged allegiance to the flag. Some of them have joined the military. They've enrolled in school. By definition, if they're part of this program, they are solid, wonderful young people of good character. And it is my strong belief that the majority of the American people would not want to see suddenly those kids have to start hiding again.
My name is Cesar Velez. I'm from Guerrero, Mexico, currently residing in Kansas City, and I'm a visual artist and painter. I grew up in Southwest Kansas as well as parts of Texas. Been in the United States now almost 27 years.
César, al igual que muchos otros jóvenes, fue traído a Estados Unidos cuando era niño. No tiene muchos recuerdos de su país donde nació.
I moved here so early that it's hard to remember a lot, but the moments that I do have, they're very, very vivid and ingrained in my brain. Actually, my earliest memory in general is being on the beach in Acapulco with my family, with my mom and my brothers. And there's bittersweetness to it, knowing where I come from, but knowing that it's difficult to return, and knowing that the decisions my family made to get here were all sacrifices for a better life. But in doing so, I also feel like a portion of me was left in Mexico.
Todos los inmigrantes tienen una cosa en común. Dejan atrás su país, amigos y familiares. En muchos casos, nunca más regresan. Y esta tal vez sea la parte más dolorosa de ser inmigrante. Los que tienen la oportunidad de regresar se dan cuenta que todo ya no es igual que antes. Y los que vinieron desde chicos muchas veces se confunden y no saben si son de aquí o si son de allá.
Growing up, I always thought that I was American, but it really wasn't until I got a little bit older and learned about my undocumented status and kind of those limitations when I finally understood what it meant to be an immigrant. The work I've been making over the past 2 years or so has been about my story and about what it was like to grow up undocumented but not realize it. So it's titled The Hidden Burden, and it's about childhood. It's about childhood obliviousness. As you can see, my art is very personal. It is very much a reflection of myself and the things that I'm going through. You're taught to never speak about it if you're undocumented. Like, it's ingrained in you. You don't openly talk about this stuff. Like, I never told anybody I was undocumented until I was 24 years old. Like, and that was my best friend. Once you realize you're undocumented and once you realize what it actually means, then every single decision you make is impacted by that reality.
Across our borders, they come by the millions and millions and millions. They come from mental institutions, they come from jails, prisoners, some of the toughest, meanest people you'll ever see.
Te hago una pregunta. ¿Puede un inmigrante discriminar a otro inmigrante? Es que no entiendo esta parte. Todos vinieron de otra parte.
The burden doesn't ever get easier, but you learn to live with it, and you learn how to apply it in ways that are beneficial for you. Growing up in America, you're often taught that immigrants are the other and immigrants are the bad person. Immigrants are illegal, they're aliens, they're stealing our jobs. They use all this negative language to describe just people. So what I want to do is just show that I'm just a person. Like, I'm not this object to be used for hatred or for rhetoric, and I'm not trying to steal any jobs. I'm just trying to live. Like, that's why my family came over here. No one ever wants to leave their home country. You only come here because you're forced to or you have to. And that's what my mom did.
Cuando eres padre, te das cuenta y lo único que quieres es darle un mejor futuro a tus hijos, que algún día sus sueños se hagan realidad.
My dream is to create as long as I can, as freely as I can, with no restrictions, and to see my family happy.
Nadie elige dónde nacer, pero algunos eligen viajar e emigrar a otros lugares. Muchos no eligieron emigrar, sino que esta fue la vida que les tocó vivir. César, cuando era chico, su madre viajó a los Estados Unidos y ahora vive aquí con su familia y este es su hogar. Espero que algún día podamos entender que César, al igual que muchos otros niños ahora adultos, merecen la oportunidad de vivir en libertad, al igual que cada otro niño y niña de esta humanidad.